our leader Nnamdi Kanu has said, instead of Biafra not to come, Nigeria will be burned to ashes. And I promise you today, instead of Biafra not to come, we, every single individual in Biafra government, in all the structures that our PM has laid down, we will burn Nigeria down. I want all the 40 states of Biafra to be resolute. More than ever at this time, the Biafra Liberation Army and Biafra Defense Forces, now is the time to be more resolute. Our PM has given instruction. Any Nigerian military, Nigerian police, Nigerian Air Force, anything wearing Nigerian uniform inside Biafra land, they are the reintegrated terrorists that Nigeria want to use to kill and stop Biafra. So the Biafra Defense Forces, this is the time to increase it towards our final restoration.
The Chief of Staff of the Biafra Republic government in exile, Ngozi Orabueze, has vowed to burn down Nigeria if Biafra does not achieve independence. She stated that the Biafra government is ready for independence declaration and that all the structures of Prime Minister of Biafra government Simon Ekpa has laid down. She, however, instructed the Biafra Defense Forces and the Biafra Liberation Army to get ready and stay alert because something great is about to happen very soon. She vowed to burn down Nigeria if Biafra independence is not restored. She instructed all the 40 states of Biafra to be resolute more than ever at this time, and that the Biafra Liberation Army and the Biafra Defense Forces should be prepared. She vowed that any Nigerian military, Nigerian police, Nigerian Air Force, anything wearing Nigerian uniform inside Biafra land will not survive. They say, soldier go, soldier come. Ngozi Orabueze is truly a tigress waiting to devour whoever cross her path. She is even more brutal than Simon Ekpa, and her warning has sunk deeply in the ears of the Nigerian government and its military. According to her, no Biafra, no peace in Nigeria. Until Biafra come, before peace can be restored in Nigeria. If not, Nigeria will never know peace. This story revolves around a struggle for identity, justice, and freedom. A struggle that has persisted for decades. It is about the land of Biafra, its people, and one of its fierce champions, Ngozi Orabueze. She is a woman of unshakable resolve, known for her fiery words and unwavering commitment to the Biafran cause. Let me take you through the story step by step so you can understand the depth of her passion and the complexity of this conflict. To truly understand the weight of Ngozi Orabueze's words, you must first understand the history of Biafra. It all began in the 1960s during a time of great political and ethnic unrest in Nigeria. The southeastern region, home to the Igbo people, declared independence in 1967, calling it the Republic of Biafra. This declaration was not welcomed by the Nigerian government, and it led to a brutal civil war that lasted for over 3 years. Over 1 million lives were lost in the conflict, mostly due to starvation and disease. The war ended in 1970 with Biafra's defeat, but the dream of independent Biafra did not die. For many, it became a vision passed down through generations, a vision of freedom, dignity, and self-rule. Ngozi Orabueze is one of those who inherited that vision. For her, Biafra is not just a place, it is a symbol of hope, justice, and the right of our people to determine their own destiny. Now let's fast forward to today. Ngozi Orabueze is the Chief of Staff of the Biafra Republic government in exile. This government, led by Simon Ekpa as its Prime Minister, operates outside Nigeria, advocating for the independence of Biafra. They believe that the time for talk is over and that action is necessary to achieve their goal. Ngozi Orabueze recently made headlines with a bold and shocking statement. She declared, "If Biafra does not come, we will burn down Nigeria." These words are not just fairy, they are incendiary, and they have shaken the nation to its core. What could make someone say something so extreme? Let's delve into her reasoning. For Ngozi Orabueze, this is not a time for half measures or compromises. She believes that the Nigerian government has continuously ignored the cries of the Biafran people. In her eyes, the only way forward is total independence. She feels that any further delay is an insult to the memory of those who died in the Biafra War and to the millions who continue to suffer marginalization in Nigeria. Ngozi Orabueze's statement wasn't just an empty threat. She insists that the Biafra government in exile has laid down all the necessary structures for independence. According to her, Simon Ekpa has worked tirelessly to prepare Biafra for this moment. Every detail, every plan, every resources has been put in place. The only thing left is to make the declaration official. But Ngozi Orabueze knows that such a declaration will not come without resistance. That is why she has called on the Biafra Defense Forces and the Biafra Liberation Army to be ready. She has instructed them to stay alert, to prepare for what she describes as a great event that is about to happen soon. She also has a message for the people living in what she calls the 40 states of Biafra. She tells them to be resolute, to stand firm, and to prepare themselves for the challenges ahead. This, she says, is the most critical time in their history. Ngozi Orabueze's words are not just directed at her supporters, they are also a direct warning to the Nigerian government and its armed forces. She makes it clear that any symbol of Nigerian authority found in Biafran territory will face their consequences. Anything wearing a Nigerian uniform inside Biafra land will not survive, she says. It is a chilling declaration, one that leaves no room for doubt. Ngozi Orabueze sees the presence of Nigerian forces in Biafra as an invasion, and she's ready to fight back with everything she has. Her message to Nigeria is simple: without Biafra, there cannot be any peace in Nigeria. No Biafra, no peace, she declares. It is not just a slogan, it is a vow. She believes that Nigeria's stability is tied to Biafra's independence. Until the Nigerian government acknowledges this, she says, the country will remain in turmoil. Ngozi Orabueze is not just any leader. She is a woman of extraordinary strength and determination. Those who know her call her a tigress, a theme that captures her fierce and unyielding nature. Some even say she's more resolute than Simon Ekpa himself. Ngozi Orabueze is not afraid to speak her mind, no matter the consequences. She is a leader who thrives in moments of crisis, a woman who is willing to take risks to achieve her goals. For her, the fight for Biafra is not just a political struggle, it is a moral one. She believes that her people have been wronged for too long, and she is determined to set things right. Ngozi Orabueze's statements have sent shockwaves through Nigeria. Leaders in Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria, are paying close attention. The Nigerian military is on high alert, and ordinary Nigerians are left wondering what will happen next. Her words have also sparked intense debates. Some people see her as a hero, a champion of justice who is standing up for her people. Others see her as a dangerous figure whose rhetoric can plunge the country into chaos. In the southeastern region, where the Biafra movement has its strongest support, her words have ignited both hope and fear. Supporters of Biafra are inspired by her courage, but they also know that her threat could lead to violence. At its core, the Biafran struggle is about self-determination. It is about the right of a people to decide their own future. For decades, many in southeastern Nigeria have felt marginalized by the federal government of Nigeria. They believe that their region's resources are exploited, that their culture is disrespected, and that their voices are ignored. The dream of Biafra is about creating a nation where this injustice no longer exists. It is about building a society where the Igbo people and other ethnic groups in the region can thrive. But this dream comes with challenges. Declaring independence is not a simple process. It requires political support, international recognition, and most importantly, the will of the people. Ngozi Orabueze is fully aware of the risk involved in her fight for Biafra. She knows that the Nigerian government will not let Biafra go without a fight. She knows that her words could lead to violence, to loss of life, and to more suffering. But for her, the stakes are too high to back down. She believes that the Nigerian government has left her people with no other choice. If they won't give us peace, we will take it, she says. Her determination is both her strength and her greatest risk. As Ngozi Orabueze's words continue to echo across Nigeria, the country finds itself at a crossroad. The government must decide how to respond. Will they crack down on the Biafra movement, risking further alienation, or will they seek a more conciliatory approach, addressing the grievances that fuel the Biafran struggle? For now, the answer remains unclear, but one thing is certain: Nigeria is on edge. The tension is palpable, and the stakes are higher than ever. This story is far from over. It is a story of a nation grappling with its identity, of a people fighting for their peace in the world, and of leaders like Ngozi Orabueze who are willing to take extraordinary measures to achieve their goals. As we watch this story unfold, one can't help but wonder, what will the future hold for Biafra and Nigeria? Will there be peace, or will there be fire? Only time will tell. For now, all we can do is listen, watch, and wait.
Our leader Nnamdi Kanu has said, instead of Biafra not to come, Nigeria will be burned to ashes. And I promise you today, instead of Biafra not to come, We, every single individual in Biafra government, in all the structures that our PM has laid down, we will burn Nigeria down. I want all the 40 states of Biafra to be resolute. More than ever at this time, the Biafra Liberation Army and Biafra Defense Forces, now is the time to be more resolute. Our PM has given instruction. Any Nigerian military, Nigerian police, Nigerian Air Force, anything wearing Nigerian uniform inside Biafra land, they are the reintegrated terrorists that Nigeria want to use to kill and stop Biafra. So the Biafra Defense Forces, this is the time to increase it towards our final restoration. I want to let Biafrans know that our Prime Minister, Simon Eber, has set all the structures in place for Biafra restoration from the beginning to the end. So taking him or removing him to go and ask him questions to delay or to disrupt our Finland Convention for the next 1 or 2 weeks, it is not going to have any effect. Rather, it is going to make all Biafrans more determined in the restoration of the independent state of Biafra. We are a full-fledged country. We have met all the criteria for a full-fledged country. We conducted our referendum where over 50 million Biafrans have voted for the independent state of Biafra. We've conducted different topics, we did a Twitter poll where 98% of Biafrans want to exit Nigeria because Nigeria is a killing ground. No sensible person in the world, no sane leader, no individual that has his or her honest right will ever support the existence of a killing ground called Nigeria, where people are killed in their thousands every single day. No sane leader will support that. So anything that Nigerian government is doing, anything the local Finland authorities is doing, I want to assure them that inviting our Prime Minister or delaying him or making him not to be part of the Finland Convention, which he holds dear to his heart, that will not stop nothing. We are the people. The power belongs to us. The laws of self-determination allow us to rule ourselves, to determine who is going to be our leader. And Biafrans have done that clearly over the past 2 years after they kidnapped and renditioned our leader, Ngozi Orabueze from Kenya. He is right now in the DSS dungeon. They did that because they think that when they take our leader, Nnamdi Kanu, there will be nothing about Biafra anymore. That was their wish. That was their thoughts. And now they are partnering with the local authorities in Finland to invite our Prime Minister to disrupt our Finland Convention.
One thing people don't know is that we, this current generation fighting for Biafra liberation, we understood something that many people don't understand in the past. We understand that power, every power is given by God. So why do you discriminate other power, whether evil or good? I want you to understand that this particular freedom we are fighting, if we do not push Nigeria out of our land, we will never have peace. Nobody ever thought of why the devil, why the Satan, or whatever it's called, why was Satan pushed from the heaven to earth? For peace to be in heaven, for peace to reign. Because if devil or Satan is still in heaven, according to Bible, do you think you'll be struggling to go to heaven today for Christians? You will not. Nigeria said it's going to be a London to what the heaven will look like. If devil is Satan is still there. So I want people to think towards this particular. So it is the same thing with Nigeria. Any time and any day you wake up in Biafra land and see there is still a presence of Nigeria in Biafra territory, there will never be peace. So we must chase Nigeria away, just the way God chased Satan from heaven. Back to where they come from. Everything Nigeria, we will remove them. Educational system will be removed. Even the religious, the way they worship in Nigeria, oh my God, you need to see our constitution. So what I'm saying is starting from the constitution of the Biafra, the United States of Biafra. So we need to chase Nigeria just like they chase Satan from heaven to wherever they belong to, for peace to reign and return in our land.
Founder of the Boko Haram, who is the current vice president
of Nigeria meeting with my president, which I know very well personally, Alexander Stubb. One thing everybody should know is that we are a country of rule of law. The president of Finland is not there at the United Nations to discuss Simon Ekpa, so he will not give that attention to them. That's number one. And because Nigeria is a very stupid country, ruled by foolish people, ruled by criminals, they don't know what is called rule of law. They don't understand where their boundary ends as leaders, as they address themselves. So they may go there and with the motive of telling President Stubb that, oh, what are you going to do to that Simon Ekpa? You know? So, of course, Stubb will never, ever respond and answer them. That is, just take it from me. So what they did was to come and say they are soliciting for Finland's support. Is it Finland that is the only country that came to the United Nations that they have singled out Finland to give Finland support? You know, I look at them and I laugh. What about their godfather, United Kingdom? What about the other countries? What about the other brothers that are fighting against Israel? They have not approached them. The man is going to France every second week, and is very good with the French president. Why did they not mention France? Why on all the countries in this world, these criminals and terrorists did not see any country what they are telling you? They just want to use it to do media propaganda in Nigeria, nothing else. You know, they will say, let us go there and take pictures with Stubb, and then we use it to do propaganda so that they will know whether Simon Ekpa will run away. I live here for many years. I have known Stubb for many, many years. You know, so it's not about even knowing Stubb, Mr. President, but it's about following the rule of law. I have not done anything wrong. What I'm doing is right, and I will stand my ground anywhere, any day to defend whatever I'm doing today for the freedom of my people.
People are talking about Biafra. What did Biafra go do? He go come where? You said when this man win in Biafra.
Nigeria will be divided into two. In this spiritual world, it will happen.
Okay.
It will happen.
Okay.
It will happen.
Okay.
And before Nigeria too will be Nigeria again, unless Igbo man can carry presidency in Nigeria. Now Igbo people go feel move Nigeria forward. The Muslims they know if you do them. The Yoruba know if you do them. So Biafra is in the spiritual world. Nigeria will be divided. The time will come. We will be alive to witness it, or many will not be alive to witness it, but it's in the spiritual world that Nigeria will be divided.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. We also have a report from the Chief of Defense Staff telling the House of Reps that Simon Ekpa is frustrating their efforts in the southeast. Now, the Chief of Defense Staff, that is Christopher Musa, General Christopher Musa, has accused self-proclaimed Biafra agitator Simon Ekpa of undermining the efforts of security forces in the southeast. General Musa said this while heading a delegation of other service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police during their appearance before the House of Representatives on Tuesday, November 21. In the aftermath of Nnamdi Kanu's arrest, Ekpa had asserted his leadership in the agitation for the restoration of Biafra. I wouldn't want to call it the restoration of Biafra, but that's the word that's being used in the media, for Biafra. Agitation for Biafra, not restoration, but because it will seem as if it had been a country before. It is widely believed that Ekpa is allegedly providing financial support to armed groups operating in the southeast, who often enforce the sit-at-home order declared by Ekpa. Accusing Finland of safeguarding Ekpa, Musa urged the federal government to initiate diplomatic dialogue with the Finnish government and invite the Finnish ambassador to Nigeria to address the concerns surrounding the activities of the agitator. Musa acknowledged the efforts of the military and other security agencies in maintaining peace in the southeast, but he expressed concern that Ekpa's comments and actions were undermining these efforts. When I was reading this story, I was just remembering the Umaru Diku incident. You know, this is Nigeria, where we attempted to smuggle someone in a bag or a box back to Nigeria in those days. You don't mess with Nigeria. But how can someone stay in a foreign country and be instigating the people back home to be killing themselves? Because as far as I'm concerned, the Southeasterners are killing themselves because the bulk of the
the victims are Southeasterners as well. So how can someone be instigating people to fight a country and then to kill himself, and another country is shielding this person? Or is it that Nigeria is not doing enough to make sure that this person is brought to book or something? What other way do they define terrorism and terrorism financing and terrorism enabling? You know, is he not an enabler of terrorism in the southeast of Nigeria? So why is the Finnish government keeping him? There are a lot of questions that maybe we need to ask the diplomats to give us answers to, so that we get to know why it is so difficult to get this man out of the way, get him arrested, put him in jail, or prosecute him, or one thing or the other that can be done to the man. So maybe we'll be asking, like I said, a diplomat or people who are in the know to tell us why it's so difficult. Because, okay, for instance, Nigerians have just been told why the Super Eagles coach cannot be fired. So we have seen reasons for them. So let's also know why Ekpa cannot be arrested or cannot be taken to court or something. Let's get to know so that we put our minds at rest. He's in a faraway land, but financing possibly the terrorism that is going on in the southeast. Those are people who are some of the most industrious people in Nigeria, if not the most industrious people in Nigeria. And Monday market used to be like the in thing when you're talking business. People were coming from every part of the.
So let's start, with your thoughts on the comments made by General Yakubu Gowon that the Nigerian civil war was fought to keep the country together and that it was not really about defeating any part of the country. What do you make about this? What do you make over this?
Well, first of all, we must understand that war in itself is a display of anarchy. When you talk about war, that is lawlessness at its peak. So when you say you are fighting war to keep Nigeria one, no. You fought the war as a manifestation of your incompetence in the management of the crisis that was then part of Nigerian history. And let me explain what I mean. Before independence, the colonial power retained the kind of brainwashed the Nigerian people to maintain their ethnic cleavages, and they needed to make Nigerians live in that disunity so that they could continue their colonization against Nigeria. So they made the North, for instance, to believe that being educationally disadvantaged, they should not rush into independence because of the likelihood that they will be dominated by the more advanced southern Nigeria. And the North bought into that. And that was why we were delayed from 1954 to 1960. But the actual thing is that Britain just wanted more time to dominate Nigeria. So after independence, that mindset that the South is likely to dominate them remained. And the North was always at every slightest chance reminding the South that we did not intend to be one country with you because we are suspecting your domination. But the 1966 military coup, pure military coup, has nothing to do with ethnicity or anything, even though people who organized it were predominantly from one ethnic group. But that reinforced the belief by the North that these people, we said it, they want to dominate us. And then they carried out a revenge coup in 1966 July, which was meant actually to separate from Nigeria, not to keep Nigeria one. But the Britain also reminded them that the resources are in the East. So if you leave Nigeria, we are going to support the East. So you better run now that you have acquired power to maintain Nigeria as one. And that made them to have a rethink. And by that time, a lot of Igbos, for instance, have been killed during the pogrom, during the massacre. So there was an entrenched suspicion between the ethnic groups. And this led them to go to Aburi for a conference, and they reached agreement. And it was still Gowon who came back and reneged on the agreement, which inevitably led to the bitter war. And after the war, Gowon declared again, no victor, no vanquished, and promised to reconcile, rehabilitate, and reconstruct the Southeast, which he failed again to do. So all the available opportunities for him to make Nigeria one and consolidate that unity, he was not able to do. But let us make one point clear, that after a while, when he himself was thrown away by some of those his colleagues, that was when maybe he recognized that what happened in 1966 was a military coup and not any ethnic coup, because he himself was thrown away by the same military people. I wonder which terminology we use to describe the ones who threw him away. But one thing is clear. After that, it looks as if he went into theology, had a rebirth, and he came back and genuinely went through our Southeast apologizing and asking for forgiveness for his role in the Civil War. And we know that though the Southeast has been marginalized and ill-treated in that war, which was not caused by them, we know that Gowon has tried to make certain types of penance. We should forgive each other because hostilities need not last forever. So I can submit respectfully that ethnic chauvinism, the youthful exuberance of the military young chaps that took over government, who were actually very impressionable at that age, their inability to manage the crisis contributed in the disunity that resulted in the Civil War. We must learn to forget and to forgive so that we will move ahead as one united Nigeria. I remember what Ojukwu said when he came back from exile. He said, we had fought one civil war. We don't need to fight another one. That he is going to go to war to fight if Nigeria is ever threatened again. And I stand by that. Nigeria being the hope of the black man, Nigeria being the hope of Africa, Nigeria being blessed, and in our enlightened self-interest, the capabilities and blessings of Nigeria will be better harnessed if we come together, live together under one united Nigeria. Nigeria based on equity, unity, peace, and justice. Nigeria will achieve its aims. I support the opinion that we should move ahead now as one united Nigeria, and I'm willing to fight if Nigeria is threatened. Let me.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.